Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today in this video, Stever82 joined me, and he's going to begin the video by explaining how he is going to handle his 200 plots of land. As the surveying becomes possible, what's he going to do? How is he going to use it? What's his strategy to maximize value and the opportunity in front of him? And then I'm going to communicate by myself with my live audience about how they see that plan, and I'm actually going to speak into what my plan is for my plots of land, which is definitely different than where Steve's coming from. So I hope you'll stick around for this one. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and special thanks to Steve for coming to hang out. Check out his channel, his link's in the description. Bye now.
Last night I gave away my my land plan, and if you want to hear my sneaky quick plan before I go,
Yeah.
I could give it away to you guys.
Yes.
And see what you guys think.
Yes.
So I've got the 2 tracks I'm going to open. I did accounting. I have 160 max level cards, but I do have over 1,000 cards that are at level 5 that I could put into all of my lands. But I'm going to try to make my 2 tracks specialize in whatever I end up getting lucky enough to get. I'm going to flip all of them with buildings, some of them with time crystals. I'm going to try to sell my time crystals for the most part, but maybe use a tiny bit of them. I'm not doing unstable totems because I already own about 80 totems. I only have 200 lands, and so I feel like I'll just be able to put totems in the more important areas that I need them. Of some kind, so I'm not going to take that 1 month bonus. I'll just take the forever bonuses I get for my current stuff. But I'm going to take a look, and let's say within my land, my 200 lands, I'm good at making wood and good at making stone, but I'm not so good at making ice or whatever the water element's going to be. Well, then I might just sell off most of my watery plots within my 2 tracks, because even if they're, and especially if I get, let's say, like 1 or 2 that are legendary, but they don't have, like, the overall feel of my area is not those things.
Yes.
Sell those off, because the hope would be somebody who wants to like really produce that one thing is going to buy that. And he's going to want to level it, and he's going to want to put max level stuff on it, and he's going to want my keep to level up bad enough to where he might just make a couple donations to my keeps. He might, at least be like, what can I do to help you level your stuff?
Yeah.
and I'll have, some hopefully good tenants that are incentivized to really make sure that my track succeeds, working with me as we go forward. And at the same time, I'll create my land to where that every, like, if I have the most lands to produce trees, every single tree land is going to produce.
Yeah.
And my arenas will go on whatever I can't produce that well, and my storage will go on whatever I can't produce that well secondly.
Yeah.
But whatever, like, I'm gonna figure out what my lands are allowed to produce.
Yeah.
Map it all out. Make sure that I optimize that stuff and don't use the other things. And if the other things have a couple more rare things, then I'm going to sell them off and use that to hopefully fund really pushing the other side of the land.
Double down on your talents, hey, on your whatever your strengths are. You're going to double down on those.
Yeah, because a lot of people feel like you should dump your common lands right after you flip lands up. And I'm like, no, I'm going to, it'd be one of the few people who might try to sell a legendary land if it's a legendary land that, like, just randomly doesn't go well with my, rest of my setup or the rest of my plan.
Yeah.
Because if I look at my 200 lands and I'm like, I only got 10 that can produce the water element, and one of them's legendary, I'm like, no matter what, I'm never going to be a kingpin of water. But if I have, 90 of them that produce wood, and I really max all of them out, even if they're common, I'll probably be a player in the wood game.
Butter says it, buddy. Thanks for coming to hang out today. Thanks for the input on the land. I'm going to talk about that with these guys, and because I gotta figure out my thing too. And I hope we can do it again soon. And guys, make sure you check out his Twitch and as well as the YouTube. Appreciate you, Steve.
Yeah. No problem, man. I wish I could stay longer, but I got to get back to work.
That's all good.
Bye,
Next
guys.
time, bud. Boom. Hey guys, let's see. Audio still good? Yeah, cool. So I think that sounds pretty smart. What I'm hearing from that is like focus fire on what you've got. Like recognize your strength and focus on it right within the land. And I know I don't have two tracks. Wouldn't that be nice, dude? 2 tracks. And I think no, Gank has 1 region. Man, that sounds overwhelming. I've heard Gank talk about his plan with land, and he's just going to take it slow. I think he's going to kind of he's going to survey like 100 plots, something like that, and he's just going to take it slow. In my mind, whatever you've got, you want to get it going. I don't think you want to wait. I don't think that's the play. I think you need to, whatever you've got, you need to get it going. And if that's 1,000 plots and that's too big of a thing for you to handle, I get it. I still think you survey them and then you start selling off ones you don't want. I think that's the play. I don't think you wait. I think you survey everything you've got, and then you find ones like Steve said. But I don't necessarily 100% agree that I would double down on just like whatever resource I'm expert at. But I think what I would say about that would be recognizing what you've got access to and then trying to formulate a plan, whether it is, you've got 10 plots and 7 of them are, wood. Okay, maybe you do what he says and you try and like become expert at that. But what about you've got 10 and like one of them happens to be legendary and one of them happens to be like magical legendary, which will be one of the more rare and expensive plots. Would that be something you then maybe you sell that one super amazing card because there's not going to be a ton of those available? And what would it go for if the supply is 0? Because there would be 0 available on day 1, and you open your 10, you open your 100, you open your 1,000, as Gank will do, and you see what you've got. And I think that's where the sale is going to be maximally maybe not maximally available to you. Like the prices could, and probably if land is what it's supposed to be, the prices I imagine will grow exponentially over the years. I think you'll see growth in the value because we'll see growth in the player base. Again, if the game is fun and has a future, if land is what it's supposed to be. So that's 2 big questions, I guess. But if those things end up being realized, then I think the land price will appreciate. It won't be maximal at its day 1, but I think at day 1, you're going to see this moment where it will be due to limited supply. Prices will be higher than they will be for probably the next year. So on day 1, I think a legendary plot will go for probably surprisingly high amounts of money, or certain plots will go for surprisingly high values. And then there'll be this increase of supply because more and more people are surveying, more and more people are listing those surveyed plots. And as the supply grows, the prices will tick down. And then buyers can take advantage of that. So if you're one of the early, what I'm saying is one potential play would be recognizing fully what you have and possibly selling the best of them because you're willing to have, to reinvest that value in a different way. And you're excited to take advantage of a moment where there is low supply. So that whole theory depends on whether or not you agree that there will be, a low supply at the early, upon release of surveying. And I think necessarily there will be. But if I'm wrong, if you go to the market and there's, for instance, dozens or hundreds and hundreds of legendary magical plots, then what I just said is not going to prove true. But if you go to the market and there's one legendary plot that's magical available, then you can, what I'm saying will be verifiable in that way. And I want to see the market here, the other. And so I think this is going to be the way I'm going to look at it, where I'm going to definitely survey everything as soon as I can. And I don't really care where I land. I know some of the time intention guys are like, hey, let's do it together. I'm okay with that, but I don't really care where I land. I do. It is important though to be in a group of people who are active. So I'm going to, I guess, survey as other people I know are surveying, so that we can hopefully be in a plot that all pulls their own weight. Because you want people who support the search for Praetorius Secret. You want people who are supporting the keep and the castle. You want active players who are there playing and developing their own keep and castle. If you get an AFK castle in your area, I think that's going to be a real bummer. So I want to be more, it sounds like Steve's got a real hard and fast plan. I want to be more reactive to what I'm seeing but I'm going to be proactive in exploring what I've got, and then reactive in analyzing my options after I've fully assessed my deck of land plot cards, because they are cards. 143 is very reasonable. And I'll take this moment to say I am still giving away a plot of land, and you guys are all going to have an opportunity to win that. So that's going to be probably a couple months away before we do that. So that's not too far. And man, $2.33, dude, on the Chaos Legion packs. Different topic, but man, I love seeing that above $2. They were selling for $1.50, 3 months ago. What do you guys think about all this land stuff? Bobby says, yeah, with my land, I'm going to, which will allow me to end them. And that's the master plan. I love that. Foolproof. Yeah. Eli agrees. That's the thing. It actually is a million steps, right? It's not, I don't think it's obviously, that's why I push back on Steve, because I think there's a rigidity to that plan, and yet there's a flexibility, because he's saying I'm willing to have wood, or I'm willing to have, whatever. I don't care which resource I have, but I'm going to end up having a disproportionate number of one resource. So then I'm going to lean into that. And I think in some ways, therefore it's rigid because he has a structured plan, but it's also flexible in that he doesn't care which of the resources he lands with. Mine's going to be more market driven, and I'm going to be looking at the price of certain assets, and I'm going to be making on the fly calls as to whether one of my resources, one of my land plots, ends up being disproportionately valuable. And it might be because of its rarity, and it might be because of its resource type, and it might be because it had, I don't know what, something special about it. And it might just be lack of liquidity. So it could also be possible that there will be no common plots of land available for supply. So I just talked about how there could be no legendary supply, and that would drive legendary prices. It is also equally possible that in the early surveying times, there'll be very few common plots. Maybe people feel, I'm not going to list my common plot. It's not worth that much. So I'm just going to focus on selling my legendary, because that would be a real cash boon to me. And that attitude might drive the market to have cheap legendary plots and expensive, proportionally or relatively speaking, expensive common plots. And I'm going to be needing to make that judgment call on the fly. And some of that's going to be intuition, and I'll probably record what I'm doing and share that with you guys. But there's no way I don't think in my mind with my plan, there's a way for me to prepare. So it is a Bobby thing. It's like, and that'll work out just perfectly. But this is part of why I'm excited about it too. Like, it's not just, I do think it's a huge opportunity financially, but I'm actually excited for the challenge of thinking through how to do it well. Because I don't know how to prepare mentally. And therefore the challenge, it's like those are the best kind of challenges in my mind, where I don't fully understand what I'm getting myself into, but I think there's a real opportunity in it. So then I'm excited to get into it. And it's so close now. Aren't we, I think 1.5, or like the surveying and is it at the end of March? Or am I wrong about that? I think they said, I think we're going to be able to survey at the end of March. And then the functionality is going to be a couple months later, I think. Is that correct, guys? Like summertime, we're going to be able to like do something with it, like getting SPS out of it, or begin the card staking, I think. Am I wrong about that? Eli, he wants to know how many land raffle tickets have been given out so far. I haven't added in the March members, so I can look, but it's not entirely accurate. I'm at 126 out of 250, so we're halfway there. But then I have to add another 40 or whatever to that today, based on the March members who are supporting the YouTube channel. And so we're probably around 160 of 250 right now. And then at 250, when we reach that, I will hold a raffle. We'll do a live event, and I'll share with everybody what the names are. And some of you will have more than one raffle ticket. You guys who have been supporting for, several months, you'll have several months of raffle tickets, which would be cool. I hope one of you guys wins it. I hope one of the members win it. That'd be great, because one, you're supporting the channel, but two, you're also creating content through like conversations like this. So definitely you guys will have the greatest odds though. Butters, I think land is highly speculative, but I want 1 or 2 plots just to get a taste of whatever action or opportunities may come. It's definitely speculative. If we feel like Splinterlands is speculative, and I think Splinterlands is speculative, but we have a great, you guys and myself have a strong degree of confidence that Splinterlands, the game, will thrive. And that obviously that's why we buy cards and packs and we play the game, and we're trying to accrue more and more of the, the free NFTs that they're giving and the cryptocurrency they're paying. So if we have confidence in this, I think we should have confidence in land, but it doesn't follow. It's not logically necessary that because this game is fun, that the land will simply be successful. That is not necessary. I hope it's so. I expect it to be successful. I expect it to be fun and rewarding. But man, we don't know that. And so you're right, it is speculative. And whereas the game and the future of this game, this part of the game, is speculative also, but there's a greater degree of certainty because we already know what it is. We can actually touch it and engage with it, and we see value in it as it is. And then and if they bring more value to it, which we think they will, great. That's the speculation that's available here within Splinterlands. But with land, what is it? Like, what is Praetoria's secret? We don't really know. How many cards are going to be soaked up into the land staking? We don't really know. Will people want to stake because onto the land because the rewards are substantive enough to justify it, or will this rewards be non-substantive or inadequately, substantial? We don't know, and we can't know until it launches. Will there be a ton of important land plots and keeps and castles that are AFK? The owner is not even present, and will that break the economy? They've said that we'll be able to support those buildings and those plots, and there'll be ways around that. But man, it's a huge difference between being in a region where the castle and the keep are being actively and properly run versus one where they're not. There are a lot of possible ways this could go wrong. But we look at where the game has come from and where it's aiming, and that certain degree of confidence comes out of that you can logically justify based on, again, where we've come and where we've come from and where we are now, and then you have to, I think it's reasonable to impart some of that confidence or some of that faith from what they've already done onto what they're gonna do with land. But that does absolutely fall into the realm of speculation. It is. Eli says, I don't have enough cards to justify buying land, but I'm stoked to see you play the game. Yeah, man, me too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think I have enough cards to operate my land, but I do feel I'm excited to see like guys like Gank, guys like Steve do what they're going to do. Actually, let's go circle back and touch on Gathering's comment from earlier. He goes, when serving goes live, everyone should be claiming. If we only get to region 90 or so, I will really wonder how many regions will be dead and never claimed. This is a strong point. Let's look at land. And so let me see claim deeds. I want to see where we're at. Next available region 051. Next available tract 048. Tract 8. Next available plot. So we're in like 048. So I'm going to back out. Cancel. So we're in 048. I guess that's right here. And we're going numerically, we're going from 1 onward, so it's a natural progression. So yeah, I mean, if we only if the plots and the activity only really fills into the middle of the map and the whole right wing, every plot was sold. And so the question is every plot going to be activated? I mean, if we look at Bitcoin and we see that a million Bitcoin are in Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet and they've never been moved. Of the 150,000 plots, how many of these are never going to be moved, never going to be activated, never going to be put to work? And if you wait to, you say, I want to be in 150, which I think is a bad idea. What would happen in that context? Like if you just wait and wait and wait, like we're going to start, I don't think we're going to survey. I don't think every plot of land and every region will be surveyed when surveying is available. Some people are waiting because it's cost DEC to do that well. Some people are waiting because they don't have enough cards. Some people are waiting because they want to find their favorite number. So I think it makes a lot of sense that there's going to be a scarcity in the actual active members participating in some of these later plots, these later regions. And then what would that do for you? How would that impair or possibly benefit you if you're claiming in those locations? I think there will be some strong disincentives or strong impairments. One being, again, you might have an inactive castle or keep holder. You might have a lack of participants in your region, which means you have fewer people contributing DEC and card staking that ultimately help unlock Praetoria's secret for your region. And we don't know what that means exactly, but it's going to be some sort of region-wide benefit. And although every region will achieve the secret, that was something Matt said, it's going to take X amount of activation from your region to receive that benefit. And so it won't come easy for those regions where there are fewer active participants. And so with all of that in mind, you can really imagine you did not want to end up in a region where there is inactivity, but then are there any benefits? I think, there might be some benefits in the sense of we were told certain people that participate in, for instance, the Praetoria's secret, when you contribute whatever you contribute, you will be ranked against those others in your region who are contributing also. And the biggest contributors from your region will receive certain rewards in the form of, I think they were titles, but some sort of reward. And so possibly there will be some interesting rewards available to participants in regions that are quieter, meaning you can be like the big fish in the small pond. Whereas in the first and second and these other regions that are going to be filled, you're probably getting a lot of active players that are very serious and very attentive, and maybe they're going to be bigger investors than you. And in some sense, that's helpful because you get the secret sooner, but you also won't be the big fish that unlocks those sorts of titles or whatever is available. So a lot to think about there, but there is strong reason to believe they won't all be surveyed initially because of those costs involved. And so that makes me want to go sooner than later. But I don't have a firm opinion on where and how I want to do this. Yeah. It's kind of concerning to me actually, because I wish I had a clearer idea of when to pull the trigger. And I honestly don't have the margin to try and, I guess, dive deeper and figure that out or plan something with community members. I would love it if time and attention guys listening want to like spearhead an initiative. I'm pretty much willing to get behind our community and go when they want to go. And I think sooner is better than later. But yeah, I previously was imagining I would want to get into, I would have liked it if I could have gotten here, 12. The mountain region's kind of cool, like from like an aesthetic look or whatever. But I don't really, I think we've been told that all the plots of land are going to be relatively equal in what they're able to offer you. So again, I don't know how to discern where is the best. I know I want the boost thing, the cost. I don't think anybody has enough cards, enough DEC, enough. And you know what was exciting? That recent town hall. I covered it already, but just again quickly for you guys, in case you didn't see it, an amazing. Where is it? Right here. Gold Matters. Gold Matters shared this like 30-second clip where Matt is talking, and Matt goes. He essentially says the SPS airdrop drove DEC prices to the moon. The SPS airdrop made card values appreciate wildly because people were chasing after airdrop points because they wanted free SPS. And in the same way, he thinks land is going to generate that same sort of FOMO, that same sort of price appreciation. And because it's gonna mean you don't have enough DEC. It's going to drive DEC prices up. It's going to spark the flywheel. It's going to facilitate burning of SPS. It's going to be even the DEC you're not burning, you're going to be staking tons of DEC into your plots of land. So there's this massive constriction of the supply of DEC, and that will do positive things for the price appreciation of DEC, which then speaks into the value of SPS through the flywheel mechanism. And additionally, cards and all that means, right? Because the land staking, the cards being staked into the land, it's going to provoke scarcity from all of these different assets if it operates as it's supposed to. And I do think I agree with this 30-second clip. I'm going to listen. Well, let's listen to it now. I've showed you guys before. But let's listen to it again, because this is if he's right about this is why we should be excited about land.
My goal overall is that the release of land, even phase 1.5, like this just very first phase, will be sort of similar to when we did the SPS airdrop and launch, a year and a half ago or so. In that it greatly incentivizes everyone to get as many cards as they can and as much DEC as they can, and hopefully it will drive similar results as we saw with the SPS release. My goal overall is
as many cards as they can, as many DEC as they can, and driving price appreciation on that. And we've already begun to see it, I think. I mean, you can look at DEC price; it's up quite a bit in the 750 range. It's been there for a while. And we were like 500 or something, weren't we? We've been much lower recently, last 12 months. In January, we were at 600. There was a 5 in there. We've been substantially lower, man. Where was this? That's 500 Splintoshis in August of last year. So this has been a flooring, you know what I mean? And look at this acquisition. Look at the volume. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the black bar indicated in the background is volume. And so if you look at from here at April 2022, there are some black bars that are really quite big, this one included. But then it's just like the bars get smaller and smaller and smaller with a couple spikes, smaller and smaller, one spike, couple smaller and smaller, really small volume, couple spikes. But here it's been sustained pressure since right roughly there. That's March 2nd. So for the last week, we've had sustained buying pressure on DEC. And some of it's not just buying pressure, it's volume. So it's some of it's selling and some it's activity within the DEC. But disproportionate from the historic over the last year. This is the year we're looking at, and this is unusual. And so DEC price is spiking. But then is it just DEC? Well, SPS is still languishing. SPS is going to be a follower, not a leader in this. And maybe it's months away before SPS has its kind of go. But is it just DEC? No, it's not, man. I mean, card prices also, I saw Aftersound covering the reward card price appreciation, and he was talking about chaos. There we go. He was talking about Heatsmith and how Heatsmith is up 70%. And he was looking at how Heatsmith was roughly a penny and it was selling at $1.70, 1.7 cents per BCX. I actually disagree. I was buying Heatsmith. So he's right. It's appreciated wildly. It's way more than 70%. When they announced the elimination of these old reward cards and they said, we're going to start introducing the soul bounds, Heatsmith was selling, you'd get max level Heatsmiths for $1.80 to $2. And I was buying several of them. Let's go have a peek at that. How many do I have? Chaos Legion rewards. Look at this. 346 Heatsmiths. And then look at there's 7 full max ones there. And then there's 4 more like halfways. There's another 10 that are like smaller. And then I've got 200 or whatever of the individuals, 300 of the individuals. I don't feel I have enough, honestly. But man, I was buying these for this max copy. I was buying this for $1.80, and now estimated value $6. So we've tripled. We haven't gone up by 7%, 70%. We've gone up by 300%, and that's just one example. But it's actually true for many of these cards. I was regularly going in here to the marketplace, and I'd go Chaos Legion, I'd go Reward. And then I was going like this. You go max, got to look at the max levels only. And then you go, is it price down? It's price up. Wow, guys, these cards, $6, $6, $6, $6. All 4 of these were regularly in that $2 range, like $1.80 to $2.25. Bloodmaker was another one. Exploding Rats is another one. They've tripled in value. And these were free cards that were given away for 2 years or a year and a half or whatever. And we were accumulating them with our time and attention for nothing else, just your time and attention. They were building your collection power. They're building your financial portfolio of assets. If you're accumulating them through purchase, you now have a portfolio of assets that you can rent. And as they become more and more scarce, because they will, as they get consolidated, you'll have this portfolio of assets that can be revenue generating. And it feels like that's not possible. It feels like these are unimportant because they were recently given away. But every week and month and eventually year that passes, separating when Venari Heatsmith was available for free will cause appreciation on these assets. That's been my thesis since day one with this game. And despite people, I think lots of people still don't believe that, but you've seen it already. 300%, 300, not 70, not 7, three times the original value. I'm going to say, when did they announce we were getting rid of these old reward cards? Whenever that was it December? I don't remember when it was, but whenever we made that decision, these cards have been absolutely mooning since. And I don't think this is moon, actually. That's not even, you know what? That's not reasonable, because what I'm saying is not, I don't actually believe 300% is a moonshot for these things. I think in 10 years or 4 years, these cards will be even more expensive, despite how many copies were printed, because I actually think we're going to see a growth of player base. I actually think we're going to see, the longevity of the game. So that's exciting. That's really exciting. And then when you bring that back to the land conversation, if land is what it's supposed to be, how does this story get multiplied? If land truly is as valuable and as demanding as is being spoken about in that Twitter clip, in that YouTube clip from Gold Matters, sharing Matt's view on how powerful land will be, if he's right, and you might say he's wrong, but if he is right, doesn't that necessitate another bull market in card prices? I actually think it does, which is very exciting. I think we're seeing the beginning of it. Like the smart money is really taking action, has been taking action for a while, and is taking action now. But as I look at my reward card, this was $7,000, not recently, or like recently, I mean to say. And my reward card are right now worth 13,200. It keeps going up. It keeps going up. It keeps going up. It's awesome, man. This is an exciting time, and I think we're just getting started. Yep. The lack of details makes it difficult to know what to do or not do. Yeah, it would take, I long for more and more description, but we're supposed to be expecting a white paper really soon, a post from Matt explaining more about Praetoria's Secret, land card staking, DC requirements into the land. All of that's supposed to be out very, very soon. I think at the end of March. So I think we're a couple of weeks away. With the amount of DC needed for land, I think it's going to be slow going for people to get their land plots up to speed, which might make it take longer to burn all the DC needed to get back to par. This is one of those considerations that I don't know how to think through exactly. It's going to depend on how aggressively people move back into their activation of their land plots. But on the whole, and this is a speculation on my part, I feel people should be and will be aggressive in moving into land. I hear Gank, for instance, as being a public figure who has a region, he says he's not going to rush in. But to me, you want to rush in. You want to activate as many plots as you can, as fast as you can, and get them going, because you actually want them to start garnering resources, especially if my resources are coming in when you are sitting on 90% of your plots, you're just waiting for some date in the future to activate them. I'm going to be that much richer because I'm going to be benefiting from the lack of liquidity because, 10, 20, 50% of the plots aren't yet active, but mine are. So I am not messing around. And I hope most people see that, because if they do see that, then to Paul's point, the DC will get spent, and then the par will move back faster, and then that is positive things. So the question is, but the question remains: will they move into land fast, or will they patiently wait on the sides? Probably, a little of this, a little of this, a little of that. Some will ape in and just turn on all the plots of land, and some won't. But I think, like all things, if you're investing that time and attention in the game and your plus of land, if you're activating them and you begin the reward generation process as early as you can, that snowball gets more time to build and build and build. That's why I think right away, day one, don't mess around. Figure it out. Get the cards ready. It's going to be a ton of work. If you got a region, it's going to be an insane amount of work. But even if it's survey every last one of them and then sell off 90% of them because you can't handle it. Do that, because get them into play, find what you get going, get the development happening. I think that's the play, man. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. And I really appreciate you coming to hang out today. And yeah, guys, you're amazing. I hope you have an awesome day and a good weekend. Bye for now.